They took away all my furniture, Sybil. They took away my wife and children, Sybil. I used to live a lavish lifestyle, Sybil. I used to be smoking these meats, Sybil. And now I have nothing, Sybil. Sorry, Sybil. I just want to get that off my chest. The idea of a movement-based Metroidvania is very intriguing to me. One of the core principles of the genre is exploring and getting intimate with the game's map, so being able to traverse that map with movement as fluid and expressive as Super Mario 64 sounds like a dream. Also, the game has to look like Super Mario 64. Okay?
I'm going to fly for you.
Pseudoregalia is a 3D platformer Metroidvania created by rittzler, I believe that's how you pronounce it, along with some other goons, and was first created for the March 19 Metroidvania Game Jam in 2023, and had a full release on Steam on July 28th of the same year. And if you don't want to watch this entire video, or are scared of spoilers, because I will show them, let that be your warning, and just want to know if you should buy this game, my short answer is yes, you should get it. You might think Pseudoregalia is a Coomer game because the main character has an ass fatter than the tri-state area, but it's actually a Coomer game because the movement in this game makes me want to bust. The movement in this game is smooth and fluid, with each move stringing into each other. This game even has bunny hopping. I love momentum! Even though you have like a wide move pool, it doesn't feel like any of them are useless or get overshadowed by another move. Except for this crouching backflip thing you have from like the beginning of the game. I don't know where you would use this. A great thing about this game's move kit, except for like the very beginning of the game, especially on the first playthrough, is that it doesn't feel like it's incomplete at any point. Like even when you don't have that many abilities, there's still enough depth to your movement that it still feels expressive with a high skill ceiling, and when you do get a new ability, it gives you the feeling of, oh, how can I add this new move to my current rhythm, instead of, oh, I can finally play the game now, instead of dragging my ass on the carpet like a dying dog. Or you get something so strong that it completely dumpsters how you played the game. For example, an early ability you get is the slide ability. Haha, Sybil's gonna slide into your DMs. Haha. I bet you want that.
You sick freak! Fuck you!
Anyways, the way the slide works is that it gives the player a small boost in speed during the slide before going away before the slide ends. However, what I figured out on my first playthrough is that if you slide off a ledge, you're able to use that speed from the slide as momentum, which can be preserved by bunny hopping as soon as you hit the floor. Which made me look at the game world differently, seeing every single ledge as an opportunity to fucking yoop! And then I got the sore wind, and went... Oh! The situation is crazy. From looking for wedges, I now look for the longest straight enough path on the map geometry I can b-hop on, like it's a fucking racing game, getting the best lines. Each ability has your own level of depth. Since we already talked about the slide and the slide jump, let's talk about how this game implements its wall jump. Instead of pressing the jump button when in contact with a wall like in Mario games, you have the Sun Greaves, which allows you to perform this kick move that gives you a little boost of momentum in midair. It doesn't hurt enemies, it doesn't even affect them at all for that matter. They probably like it. Sick freaks.
You. Fuck you.
If this kick hits a wall, you bounce off it at a reflection of the angle you hit the wall at, making you think about when and where you throw out this kick. Especially considering you can't grab a ledge when you have your leg out. However, if you use this ability for its full potential, you can do some crazy shit, like this room in the listless library, where you get a piece of heart, get 3 to boost your maximum health. You get the idea. It is best to use the wall run ability to get over there, but if you're a real gamer, like me, you do this. Then proceed to mess up multiple times trying to get back. And you can scale literally any 90-degree angle with this ability. It's kinda ridiculous. Even stuff that's like straightforward, like the Sunsetter, which is like a ground pound that leads into a high jump, it still feels good to perform. I can't stress it enough. The game just feels good to move around in. The ground pound is fast enough to be fluid and not interrupt gameplay, while being slow enough to still give the move some weight to it. All of these abilities makes moving around this world an absolute joy, along with seeing how you change the way you interact with it. Going from precision platforming to seeing how fast you can fly across that same room, because man, it sure does feel like this game loves to slingshot you across its world. Oh yeah, right. I haven't talked about the world yet. But before talking about that, what the hell is this? So apparently, when this game first released, it straight up didn't have a map, and got it in a later update. Which, man, I wouldn't have enjoyed this game as much as I did if I played it when it first released. But still, even now, it's not that great. You can only see the area you're currently in, and the only reason I can come up with for why it's like this is that some of the doors that lead into other areas of the map are like on opposite sides of the world. But like, I don't care, man. I just want to see the whole thing. And like another thing is it's not very detailed. It's just like a bird's eye view of the shapes of each room. So you can't like look at a room and go, oh, since I have this new power-up, I can go do this now. But it kinda makes sense considering the rest of the game's aesthetics. But maybe like a way to mark points on the map would be a good solution to this problem. However, this isn't too much of a problem considering how small the world is. Another potential problem that the small size of the world alleviates is potentially the rooms in an area all blending into each other. Because if you look at that footage, some of these rooms look very similar to each other aesthetically. But for me at least, along with the fact there just isn't that many rooms in the game, the layout and feeling of playing through each room made them feel distinct and memorable enough for me. However, there are some memorable set pieces on the map, some of my favorites being this one at the Twilight Theater. On the stage here, there's a door on the right, left, and back of the stage, each housing their own little challenge, in order to hit 3 different levers to release the golden key, which you need 5 of to open a door on this tower to get to the final area of the game. And on this tower is one of these piss card keys and 5 plaques saying where each key is located. And one of them says, "A key lies on top of a distant tower." Like, no shit, man. I just wanted to say that because I found it really funny. Anyways, another place I like is this wet dry world ass town in the empty Bailey. And this part in the underbelly, we have to hit multiple levers to raise a platform to be able to jump to this pole to access where you need to go. Or be me, a real one, miss like one lever so you can't reach the pole and do this instead. However, the majority of this game's rooms don't really give me a sense of place, and along with the patient fog and blurry colors of an N64 game, it makes me feel like I'm in a dream or something.
Say that again?
Or maybe that's on purpose. If you look at the game's Steam page, which is something I don't really do for some reason, it tells you that this game takes place inside a dream, or more specifically, the princess's dream. Or, what's more likely, a random girl who dreams herself as the princess. And it's not some cringe-ass Ash was in a coma the entire time, and supposed to go inside the hospital room. But it doesn't feel like a random-ass dream you have at night. It feels like a daydream, a fake little world you created in your mind, where you have power, trying to escape a world you feel powerless in. The name Pseudoregalia goes with this too. Pseudo meaning something pretending to be the real thing, a faker. You know, I found you! Faker! Faker! You're not even good enough to be my
I'll make you eat
I'll make you eat. I'll make you eat those words.
There's no time to play games.
And regalia meaning a sign of royalty, like a crown. Though the princess, using the name of the game, is someone faking being a princess. As for inside the game itself, it could be pretty light on telling what's going on. In some places around the map, you may find these little goatling fellas. Some of these guys tell you a bit about the past of this dream world, like this guy here telling about how this place he's at was the princess's favorite tea spot. As well, some other goatlings have more jokey, shitposty type of dialogue. Now, this is not much of a problem in this game, but in other games, notably other indie games, have this problem where memes and shitposty stuff are so potent, for lack of a better term, that they start to mess with the tone of the game. You get what I'm saying? Like Oshiku, love you to death. But what emotion am I meant to feel when he put a diary entry from God, regretting creating hell, reflecting on himself, seeing he only created hell out of a moment of weakness, right next to a TV with this on it. Even in this case, it's not too much of a problem, but like, you understand what I'm getting at here, right? As well, there's this bigger guy in the Twilight Theater who mentioned something called the Haze, which I have no idea what he's talking about. But aside from those guys, the main place where you get hints about the game's lore is the library area. Kinda like the library in real life. That's right, go to your public library, pick up a book and learn about the world. What? Shut up, nerd! Like the Gutlings, there are some lore important ones, and more jokey books like the book about reading being hard to read. But they're less shitposty and memey compared to some of the Goat's dialogue. Now, from these books, this is what I got from the game's lore. Just saying this beforehand, this might not be a 100% accurate lore summary, but this is what I got. So, according to the monster book, the princess falls in love with a man that her family disapproves of, and because of this, the princess abandons her family and leaves with the man. The family also could have had a failing restaurant, but I don't know how that relates to anything else in the game. But then at one point the man either dies or breaks up with her, but I'm leaning towards him dying because of the book about accepting loss. However, not knowing how to move on from this loss, she hides in her own mind, creating her own little dream world where she has all the power, where she is royalty, where she's a princess. And that's where Sybil comes in, a weird dream mind spirit thing, here to yank the princess out of her little dream. Early on, a Goatling mentions that you're wearing a disguise to blend in with the other Goatlings, meaning that Sybil probably doesn't actually have the fat goat ass. That's right, the cake is a lie, let's pack it up, fellas! Another detail I really like is that after the final boss, which is the princess by the way, Lamau, there is ending dialogue by the princess, or just the girl, where she talks about the princess like it's a completely different person from herself. Kinda showing how these caricatures we have in our own minds of ourselves, over enough time, can basically become a completely different person from ourselves. Or it could be a completely different person talking to us here, but genuinely, who would it be? There are some books that I think have a deeper purpose, but I don't know what that deeper purpose is. Like the book about a girl getting revenge. Like who would the princess have revenge on? Her family? Maybe. Also, the one about the jester stealing the sun confuses me. Maybe it's related to that haze the big goat was talking about. But overall, what I got from this game's story was really nice. I like the message about having to live in life and not hiding yourself away from it, even when you believe there's no point. It's something I could really connect with. Because there are some times where I just want to curl up in a ball and forget who I am, but I know I shouldn't do that, that's not the correct thing to do. And I like the way the game presents it, not being super obvious with it, and not beating you over the head with the message all the time. Anyways, done complimenting the game, the combat in it is mediocre as balls. I mean, it's fine, it's just very coarse on the main focus of the game. There's a small cast of enemies, the two most common being this tuba guy, and a half-hatched egg. Oh, birdie! Oh! Genuinely, the most interesting non-boss encounter with this comically small night guy. And like another thing I like about the night guys in general is that after you kill them, then a sword enemy just kind of spawns in, which makes it kind of seem like that like after you kill the knight, its sword becomes alive to get revenge on you. Which I like, I just find it cute. The rest are just kind of annoying. Not so annoying that it makes me want to go to Dorchester, Massachusetts in 1988 and assault a random Vietnamese man to relieve my anger. But still annoying, because for most combat encounters, you kind of just ram into an enemy at like 2,000 miles per hour and start mashing the attack button. This game basically has like the same healing system as Hollow Knight. I'm not saying this is inherently a bad thing, just a point of comparison. But because of how much you heal from it, and how pretty quick the animation is, and how slow the enemies are, you can just spam it with no consequences. There are like 2.5 combat abilities. They're not that interesting, and they're not really needed for combat. I say a half because Ascending Light being a balance for when you hit enemies with your weapon. It's more used for platforming challenges involving these black hole things and moving invincible enemies that I enjoy. But the solo combat abilities are pretty, you get a charge attack that's also used for breaking walls with this fog-ass texture, and a projectile for that charge, which I swear I only use like for the Wing of the Theater you get it, and the final boss, which the existence of is quite a shame. The final challenge of this game not being a movement platforming challenge, but instead a combat one, even if it's like a decent one, seems kind of weird to me. Saying the final encounter should have been an escape sequence, like in Metroid. Maybe have it so the princess is following you, dropping bombs at you or some shit. Or maybe she's chasing you, or you're chasing her. Or something that's meant to be like the final test of your movement. But at least there are these little time trial things around the map. There's one for each map and they're great. They involve getting a certain number of orbs, in any or a predetermined order, in a set amount of time to earn a special outfit. My favorite's the big coat. This is the best place to really hone your skills with the game's movement. And the nice part about it is that after the timer goes over the allotted amount of time, the orbs just don't disintegrate, they're still there for you to study and figure out where they are and how to best approach them. Before we wrap up, another thing I want to mention is that the game's OST goes hard. Shoutouts to the Twilight Theater's theme. And this part in the Underbelly's theme that makes me want to come. So, yeah. If you like 3D platformers, cool movement, or just Metroidvanias in general, or at least interested in any of those things, I recommend this game. Its combat might not be all that great, but that's not a big problem since it's not a major focus of the game. It's only $6 on Steam and it goes on sale for around $4.50. Play it. Or not, I don't care what you do. Wait, actually, do please subscribe, please like and subscribe. It's really nice if you do. Please, I would benefit greatly if you did that exchange. Please subscribe, please do. I love you. Please like and subscribe. I want you.